Music is playing, which means we're here. Episode 2. Friendship Simulator. We returned. Got 2 beers and we're ready to lock and load.
Yes, sir. Let's cut that music.
No, let's just turn it up.
Just turn it up? Okay. Whatever.
No. Yeah. I agree. Oh my god, it's hot as balls.
Yeah, it's 100 degrees officially. I passed a fire station. And it had like the little, the electric sign outside.
Wee. It's fucking hot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's an emergency. People are dying currently.
People are dying, and most of them just old.
Or homeless.
Or homeless. Well, that's okay. That's sad when you put it like that. Yeah. Just melting to death like it's fucking
reality of our
Hiroshima.
world. Yeah.
Maybe a little less severe, but it's, similar vein.
A little less radioactive.
Little less instant, I would say, because it's probably more of like a slow, grueling type of beat. And not to mention you're dehydrated from probably being an alcoholic, which is pretty sick.
Yeah. I don't know if being a meth head makes you dehydrated, but I'm sure you're not drinking enough water.
I don't know about the dehydration levels, but I could see that. I don't know, powder that makes your brain go crazy probably also does some bad things with hydration levels.
Yeah. Crackheads, notorious water people.
Yeah. What if there was crackheads, but they weren't actually into the drug crack? They just loved ass.
I mean,
crackheads.
I think those people exist.
Yeah.
I think
we might be crackheads.
I'm sure one of them is in this room with us
right
now.
As we speak.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get into our first topic here.
Let's do it.
Did you ever have a food fight throughout your schooling?
I feel like if I ever did, it was unconsensual, and I got food thrown at me, and I was probably like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't feel like I'm a food fight type.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, okay.
So you know what I did is I would spray people with a hose. That was my move.
You were a hose sprayer?
I was a hose sprayer kid. I was like, come outside. 4 or 5.
Okay. I was like a 15-year-old, come outside.
No, see, that's not a hose sprayer. That's just a fucking asshole. It's okay to a certain age. I'm not sure what the drop off is, but it's a steep incline.
Yeah. Okay.
It's like the ocean,
All right. But there's never in high school, there's never a food fight that erupted?
No. Again, I feel like that's more younger kid territory. You don't throw a sandwich at someone.
No, I mean, so I kept hearing on some other podcast or TikTok or whatever, they're like, are food fights a thing? Are food fights real in America? And I was like, oh yeah. When I was in high school, I remember missing a big food fight. And coming in, I was second.
Yeah. They're like, you should have been there.
And it was fucked up. The entire cafeteria. Yeah. And we had burritos and pizza and all different types of food. And the entire cafeteria.
Dude, that pizza was molten. That could have done some damage.
Oh yeah. And I mean beans from the burritos and sandwich toppings and the kids before me had gone.
You were a school lunch teen in high school?
I mean, yeah. My parents didn't give me enough money for the lunches though, so I kind of scrounged for my friends.
Okay, you were a little rat.
Yeah, and I was pretty picky too, so that didn't help.
Well, beggars can't be choosers.
Yeah, chicken nuggets and Gatorade was kind of my deal.
That sounds pretty good.
Yeah,
I would get McDonald's because that was actually when McDonald's was still somewhat cheap.
Yeah,
I remember you could get 2 Big Macs for $4, and I was like, well. Don't mind if I do.
Yeah. Wait, you were allowed off campus?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, no, we're downtown too. So it's actually kind of savage now that I think about it.
Yeah.
Just a bunch of kids that are starting to get into drugs and alcohol and sex. And they're just let them roam around downtown.
Yeah. See, we were in the boring old town of a suburb of Portland.
Right.
So it was you could go to a McDonald's.
Right. You guys had food fights. We had heroin.
Yeah.
It was kind of a...
yeah. Exactly.
A geographical difference.
But yeah, I think there's only 2 or 3 food fights maybe. My mom went to the same high school as me and said someone threw tear gas.
Okay, well that's hardcore.
Yeah, they were like, yeah, it was 1979.
I got it from my grandfather's war closet.
Yeah, I'm like, where do you get tear gas? And,
it's a Nazi memorabilia.
Yeah, right. He had this weird hat that he wore all the time, but only inside.
He kept doing this thing with his hands every time he'd walk past this one poster.
Yeah, it's really weird. But yeah, someone threw tear gas and they all had to like evacuate or whatever. But that was like,
I hope that kid got it fucking expelled.
I would hope so.
I could also feel like that was very much the era when they were like, well, boys will be boys.
Oh yeah, no, 100%.
It was just a little tear gas.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Dude, so my best friends in high school, in middle school, they were like the problem kids, and they'd pull the fire alarm like once a week.
Yeah.
And it was those like the fire department shows up and they're like, what the fuck? And they're, now they're in huge trouble. They get like suspended or whatever, which is not great because they're already smoking weed at like, 12.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
That's just vacation for them.
Totally.
They stole a fire extinguisher. Like, I think it might have been senior year of high school. They stole a fire extinguisher and they like sprayed it all over the forest. And they're like, well, that was fucking dumb.
I had a friend in high school, like he was a problem. Like he was a bad kid, kind of.
Yeah.
And he crossed a line one day when he stole a fire extinguisher from like this weird indoor parking facility, and he was blackout drunk. And then he came into my house and sprayed it all over my mom's living room.
What the fuck?
And I was like, what the fuck? Like, it took so long to clean. And he was like, I'm not cleaning it up. Yeah, anyways, I don't see that guy anymore. But
yeah, no. What the hell? That's a fucked up. Like, he came and targeted you specifically, too.
Well, what's weird about it is he would, with like extreme blackout drunks, like there's always like a severe difference of like personality when you're sober and when you're drunk.
Yeah, I'll probably just like fall asleep or like I always get home safe, But
that's good, yeah. He was the type to what's the word I'm looking for? Engage a fire extinguisher? What do you do? Yeah, unload.
Yeah.
He unloaded a fire extinguisher. Mm-hmm. And I think this was the kind where it's like ashy.
Yeah. Oh god.
So I know there's two different types. There's one that's more like the foam, I think, and then one that's like the ash. So it was like soot that got into all the shit.
I'd probably wait for my mom to get home about that one. I don't even
You'd be like, you know what? You're going to deal with this.
Yeah.
You'll deal with the mom later.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever used a fire extinguisher. There's never been a,
It's kind of underwhelming.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really just a bunch of like shit that sprays that's not fun to like get in any, like, you don't want to have to use one, but you should use one.
Right.
If it's necessary.
Right.
If you could make one explode or something, that would be pretty rad.
Yeah. Have you ever blown anything up that was like significant? Like you made a bomb?
No, I was never. Oh man, that's another like layer of bad kid. Oh. This could be the episode. It's by itself. It's just bad kids doing bad things. But no, I never really did that kind of stuff. I was always more like a klepto.
Oh, okay.
And by klepto, I mean just like stealing food and drink.
Yeah.
I would like go into a Fred Meyer. I'd go to the deli section and get a bunch of like that nasty shit that sits under a heat lamp. But it wasn't nasty at the time.
Yeah.
This was like eating like a king.
Yeah.
And then this was the kind of Fred Meyer that has like 2 stories. So I'd go to the top floor with all of my food, and then I'd go to the Starbucks and just eat the food as if I paid for it. I mean, it's pretty sick.
It's a pretty smart move, to be honest.
It was great, except for this one time. There was this Karen who actually followed me, and she was like videoing me with her phone. She's like, I'm going to call the police. And I was like, I am 15 and I'm eating a chimichanga.
Yeah.
And I just kind of like ate it in front of her face. And then I didn't quite finish it because she was making a big scene. And then I put the wrapper on the shelf and then walked out.
I mean, I don't know why you'd get like caught up in somebody else's, thievery.
Especially when it's like, you can see me eating the food right now.
Yeah.
I'm not stealing a plasma TV.
Yeah.
Or like a Legend of Zelda game. Like this is sustenance for my hood rat lifestyle.
Yeah. There's this grocery store near us when we were growing up, and it's like a Walmart now, but it was like one of these like nobody ever went there because it was a little too expensive or whatever.
Oh yeah.
And so we go
and that was at the time too. Imagine it now.
Yeah. And like they don't exist anymore. But we'd go in there at, like right before closing, like 9 p.m. And we just steal like donuts or like ice cream, like just high schooler goodies.
I think that's why I never got in trouble for it, because I would always just steal things that I would like use immediately. I never stole like clothes or like any shit like that, because that's fucking
we'd
whack.
Consume it by the time we got home usually.
Yeah, it's like I'm going to eat now. I feel like if you're going to steal anything, especially as a child, that's like the way to do it.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot more forgivable.
Yeah. If we were sketched out, which was rare, but if we were, we'd like buy something and kind of hide it in the bag.
Yeah.
You know? Like I'd have, I don't know why donuts were our thing. They had good donuts there.
Yeah.
And we'd hide like 6 7-8 donuts in the bag.
I'm just
under
imagining
our
on a
other
day
stuff.
like today, just a hot backpack filled with donuts jammed
I
together.
mean, yeah, and then we're going to go skateboarding, and we'll feel fine.
Yeah.
We're not going to have
No.
a diabetic episode.
Whereas
you know?
now, if I had like a bunch of donuts and then went to skate, I'd feel so terrible.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I had a Philly for lunch this morning, and I felt dizzy afterwards.
Philly?
Yeah,
For lunch?
yeah.
What time?
I don't know, noon. It was like
Okay, never mind. That's not
proper
that bad. For some reason, when you said lunch, it registered as breakfast in my head, even though I said
I
lunch.
will. I don't subscribe to the breakfast food thing. I'm like, I'll eat
Well,
whatever
breakfast food is heavy as shit anyway.
Yeah,
It's like
I'll eat whatever
fucking
food anytime.
bacon and pancakes covered in syrup. You might as
Yeah.
well have a donut.
Exactly.
Same
Honestly, sweets hit me worse in the morning because my blood sugar isn't regulated. I haven't eaten
Yeah.
anything substantial.
Sure.
So if I have a donut first thing, I'm like, I want to die.
I feel like the key to ingesting things that it's counterintuitive. You actually eat the shitty things earlier in the day.
Yeah.
You try to be somewhat active, and then by the end of it, you go to bed and your body's done most of the digestion.
Exactly. Yeah. What is the worst smell you've ever smelled?
So worst smell.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's that. I mean, there's just a full catalog of things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think the worst things are the things that they seem more benign because it's not like, oh, so and so's shit or something. It's like, yeah, obviously, but it's
Yeah.
things that dude, belly button fucking lint.
Yeah.
That might be some of the worst smells.
Really?
Oh my god.
Like
yeah.
like personal? Like
Oh,
this
well,
is
mine's
yours?
not great.
Okay.
But I just mean in general, where it's like
think I've
that,
ever
or like
smelled
someone's
that.
like toe cheese or something. Like that's, it's those other parts of the body that get funky.
Yeah. I was at a store this morning and I saw these two guys and they looked smelly and they were smelly,
They looked smelly.
They're kind of nerds. They looked like they played, Smash
Okay.
Bros.
I was wondering which way you would go with that. I was like, ooh, this could be bad.
They had that young, scraggly, unkempt beard where you're like
The wispy.
Mm-hmm. They definitely
Yeah.
like Sonic a lot when they were kids.
They like Sonic more
They probably
now.
do Yeah.
Yeah. It's evolved.
And they did not smell good. But like the worst smell for me, like I know I can pinpoint the moment.
I don't have that. That's interesting. Let's hear it.
Yeah, I was in 7th grade, and my buddy had a dog. We'd always sleep over at his house. He had this dog. It was a really nice dog. It was a great dog, okay?
It was a great dog.
Everyone loved him. And so this dog, it was a big, lab of some sort, and it would hang out in our room, and one night, it was like 3 a.m. We must have been asleep. It comes in, and it throws up. Like, it just throws up in his bedroom.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
And then I remembered all day that day, we had been cleaning his pool filter. And there was dog poop in the pool filter. And it ate the dog poop.
Yeah, see, it's all those extra layers of nuance
And
there that make it so bad.
I think
because if the dog just ate shit, it probably wouldn't be so bad.
No, but
It's like chlorine infused.
this was like an extra level where I think I was fully conscious when it started throwing up and like it had done its thing and it just like left. It like went in and
Yeah, of course.
and
The dog's not going to be like, oh, sorry for fucking up, guys. Let me get a napkin, a towel.
yeah,
It's just going to be like, well, I'm a dog
"See ya."
again. Yeah.
Yeah. So it leaves the room and we are just we're about to throw up because it's that bad.
Yeah.
And we're like scrambling and it's 3 a.m. so we can't wake his parents up.
No.
We're like in the next bedroom over, and I'm like, dude, we have to like get this outside immediately.
Absolutely.
And we're outside. We finally grab it all. It's like I think he did throw up.
Yeah.
And we get it to the trash can, and the window was open because it was the summer in his bedroom, and we can smell it out there.
Yeah. Is this an old dog, by the way? This strikes me as an old dog story.
This was, I mean, a lab is old at 6, so
It's true. That's the like almost the twilight years.
Yeah. So
My lab lived to be 10. I've got a story about her about bad smells, but
Yeah.
it wasn't the worst smell I've ever smelled. in my
I
life.
feel like this was a fairly young, spry lab. It was probably 5 or 6 at most, but no, like we could smell it outside. And then his dad wakes up and he's like, "Dude, what the fuck is going on?"
Yeah,
And
exactly.
we're like,
What is that?
We're like, the dog threw up. And he's like, "What did it throw up? What are you talking about? You guys."
That tone very much is like it's your fault.
No, yeah, he was.
And you're like,
completely-
the dog ate shit out of the pool, bro. Why are you pitting this on my seventh
no,
grade
he
ass?
was blaming us. It was
Yeah.
our fault that
Yeah.
the dog threw up in his room for some reason.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, every time this Austin guy comes over.
The dog gets sick. I mean, he was the friend where we like burned things in his garage.
yeah.
You know?
So he was the bad kid. but the parents blamed it on you.
It was one of those like,
Some Jedi
we can
mind
do
tricks.
whatever we want at this kid's house, so I took it upon myself.
You
to
can
be
you
a
can
bad
do
influence.
heroin in the garage, sweetie, just as long as it's at the house.
We were grounded to the garage for 2 days. I was staying there for like a week, and they're like, you have to stay in the garage because we broke like, I don't know, something.
You have to stay in the garage.
They were they were like, you're grounded to the garage till you're.
Was there like at least like a fridge and like a TV or something in there?
There's a refrigerator. We were definitely banned from the TV. I think we broke a TV stand of some sort. And so we were banned there, and then immediately we put a mattress against the garage door, and we were slinging each other into it on roller skates.
It's pretty sick.
And that pissed them off.
Hi, I'm Steve-O, and this is Jackass.
No, this is the height of Jackass. So like, we had a lot of ideas.
Yeah.
And then we burned batteries.
Let's get a shopping cart, and then the dog will force feed it pool turds, and then it's gonna throw up everywhere, dude. Throw up everywhere, man.
Yeah. That was the same friend we did the Jackass thing where we got in shopping carts and went to a parking lot and like flung it into the bushes. And thinking about that now, that sounds like I would break something immediately.
Probably.
But
Yeah.
our soft bones
You don't have
were
that.
fine.
Yeah, that level of like hyper recovery that you did back then.
Exactly.
My dog. I don't have a story about them like eating pool turds, but that's a great name, by the way, pool turds.
Yeah.
Where to start? So the first one, like the bad smell thing, she would just like old dogs. They have that sort of like old people, old things. They just kind of have that like immediate. The turd is coming out now.
Yeah.
There's no like.
There's no warning.
There's no warning. There's no animation. Like
Yeah.
like in 2K, like you pull up for the jump shot, you see the ball release. Like there's no.
You've got time to press triangle.
The way they are laying now is like what will be happening while they shit.
Yeah.
And she would just, because she like lost control of like most of her faculties, like sometimes like if you had her in the back of the car, it would just be like, wow, what smells so, oh, that's right. She probably just diarrheaed all over the back of the truck. And she did that so regularly, dude.
My ex had 2 dogs, and we'd take them on road trips, and one of them would like 30 minutes into the road trip throw up, and the other one would eat it.
Yeah.
And her mom would just be
that's like a level of camaraderie that we should aspire for.
her mom
I
would
got
be
you,
like,
bro. I got you.
Yeah, her mom would be like, it's fine. The other one's going to eat it anyway. Like, what the fuck? Like, it's like we can smell it. It's not clean.
It's fine.
Yeah. Like, it's another 2.5 hours. Like,
we can't pull over.
Yeah.
It's like an Ouroboros. It's self-sufficient.
Precisely. That was awful.
Here's the other Simone story. So she was a brown lab. She was great. It's amazing that she lived as long as she did because she had 2 really close encounters with death from like toxicity levels.
Yeah.
So the first one, and probably the more intense one, was that she ate like a canister of slug bait, like the entire like slug killer chemical.
Yeah.
And we took her to the vet, like she was like dying, and they were like, well, there's not really anything we can do, so we're just going to put her in a coma and hope that she makes it. So they put her in a medically induced coma, and she was in the coma for, I want to say it was like 36, 48 hours, like about 2 days.
Yeah.
And she came out of it.
Wow.
She full recovery.
Wow.
Obviously it took some time. And then not that much longer after that, she ate an entire, like one of those big containers of Oreos.
Oh no.
Not a sleeve, like all
just the whole
3,
thing.
the whole thing.
Oh god.
And she was hallucinating for again, like 4 days. Because the chocolate is like acid for them.
Yeah.
So she was always a little bit different because of those.
Yeah. Damn.
She was very goofy and she loved to escape whenever she could. She was one of those dogs that liked to run away.
Yeah.
So I think animal control was called on her probably like at least 20 times.
Do you ever think that like animals that like run away a lot, like they just don't like you?
Right. Well, it's like, is it that or do they just smell something and they just follow it? Because she would always go to this meat place that was like 6 blocks away. So if we were like, where's Simone? We'd check the meat place.
Yeah.
And a lot of times she'd be just like by the door wagging her tail.
Okay.
Because sometimes they'd feed her like scraps.
Yeah.
But yeah, animal control gets really pissy about that. They'll be like, we're going to put them down if you don't get a hold on the whole gate thing.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay,
Well,
we'll be better.
Yeah, I remember I left my gate open when I was a kid, and I thought my dad was going to be pissed because the dog was going to like run away. And I go in the backyard, and he's just on the deck like hanging out, and I'm like, oh, he's just content being back here, even though the gate's like wide open. Like it couldn't be more obvious.
Yeah.
He just wasn't one of those dogs that like had somewhere to be. You know?
I had a cat run away. How weird is that?
I did too. Well, I think it got eaten by a coyote, but
Yeah, I wasn't sure. We don't know if it was eaten or escaped. I think now in retrospect, maybe my mom just told me the cat ran away, but
yeah. How old were you? Like
8?
14? No.
Yeah, 14.
Couldn't handle it.
Well, I was grounded in the garage.
Hey. We broke an entertainment system.
Yeah, no, but he was dope. His name was Pippin.
Yeah.
And he was a kitten, which made it even sadder.
Oh.
But he was like the type of kitten where you'd play with them with the like little shitty string on top of like it's like attached to a metal pole. And you do the thing where you're like, oh. You could get him to like jump off the bed with kind of like a what are those flying squirrels where they put their like limbs out? He would do that and just jump as far as he could. He was dope.
Yeah. Yeah. When I
He
was
got Don Quixote'd.
Yeah. When I was a little kid, like when I was born, my parents had a cat that had like a litter of kittens, and one by one those kittens, you know, we lived on a busy street, so like
they met their fate.
One would get hit by a car, one would get eaten by a raccoon, one would just get lost, like, you know,
one would die of dysentery on the Oregon Trail.
Exactly. Like out of 6 cats,
Bubbles contracted dysentery.
Yeah, I think they tried to give some away, but they were dropping like flies. I don't know what my mom was up to. I hadn't quite figured it out yet.
I think he just had too many cats to handle.
Yeah,
I think gaggle of kittens.
Probably about 10 total cats in the house.
Yeah, and you were probably not helping because you were a kid. So you're like, kitten.
Yeah.
And that's like the extent of your helping.
Yeah. I was a good kid around cats. I think I took to it. My sister was a cat tail puller.
Oh, I fucking hated the kids growing up that they'd be like, watch me do stunts with the cat. And you're like, what do you mean stunts with the cat?
Yeah.
And they'd like flip them and throw them. And I'd be like, bro, not cool.
I never got that. Like,
not cool, brother.
Cats are basically like the closest to invincible, the animals that we interact with on a
Their
day-to-day
agility
can get.
is, yeah.
Like they can fall from like a limitless height.
Right.
And it's fine. But my sister, it was one of those fucking kids that was just like pulling its tail and like throwing it.
It speaks a lot to your bitch sister. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know anything about your sister.
No.
I'm just kidding.
I mean, as a kid, yeah. Now she's cool. But yeah. But then we got a dog, and like she was cool with the dog. Like was totally like, you know.
Yeah, maybe she just didn't get it. I mean, I know.
Yeah.
I don't understand people that are like, I don't fuck with dogs or cats. I'm like, okay. Or they're like, I don't fuck with one or the other. It's like, I can understand there are certain dogs you don't like, but like just writing off cats and dogs or one or the other, I'm just like, why?
Yeah. You know, I always say like, oh, I'm not a dog guy.
You're not a dog.
I went to a party the other night, and they had this dog. It was like an Australian Shepherd mix. And I was like, he's my new best friend.
Yeah.
You know?
No, exactly.
Like,
dogs are the shit, but obviously there's going to be some dogs that ruin it.
Yeah.
Like will ruin your experience. You always hear like horror stories of people that are like attacked by dogs, and you're like, yeah, I'd be scared of dogs too.
Yeah.
But
I've been bitten by a couple of like the aggressive breeds, you know, like the boxers or like a German Shepherd or something like that. And I'm like,
I was bit on the ass once by a retriever.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of was scary as a kid, and I remember being like, I don't want to be around this dog anymore. But I just like outgrew it, and I think I just learned that like they're more scared of you, and then you also learn like kind of what to do if they're in a super playful mood, so you don't like escalate it. I don't know. It's just being a kid it's scary around things that could kill you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is most things.
Most dogs for certain would fuck up a kid. Like,
oh yeah. Without hesitation.
It wasn't until I had some kids. I mean, they're 5 and 6 now, but like they had the piñata at the birthday party a few weeks ago, and man, kids suck at that. 6 years old, you think
kids suck at just about everything.
Yeah, their coordination's awful.
Yeah,
but like getting them to understand that 2 hands on a baseball bat is miles ahead of 1 hand.
Yeah.
You know, in terms of like accuracy and power.
Exactly.
You know,
It's
and then they hit it once and they're like, oh.
so the kids are, bad and dumb, but then also like the parents can be bad and dumb, and that's where like the level of responsibility comes in. Because how many times have you seen the video of it's like a quinceañera or something, and a girl is just waving the bat continuously, going further and further away from the pinata, and the parents are like, "Oh my gosh, she's still missing!"
Up there,
and then the kid gets whacked in the face, and they're like,
"Yeah,
it's like this was telegraphed."
I don't know, because there were probably over 10 kids at this party we were at, and I gotta say, like, a couple of them were contenders for hitting somebody. They just didn't have that like spatial awareness to know like, oh, the bat is this long and they're this far away from me, and there's people behind me.
Did you guys do the thing where you like spin around so they have no idea where they are?
Yeah, which I mean, that's kind of lost on someone that's like 4.
Yeah,
like
they're already lost.
They're already drunk.
Yeah, they're yeah.
Like their movement is not straight by any means.
Yeah, so, they're gonna pull a Simone and diarrhea in the back of the car on the way home. They're not. They're not up to par.
If my kids were pooping in the car, I mean, what do you do? But that'd be rough.
Yeah, especially in this temperature, you'd get like a little sauna going in there.
Yeah, I had a friend who we were in the car and the kid was in the car seat, and he's like, "I have to poop," and we're like, "Okay, like it's 20 minutes till we get home. What do you want?" And then he's like, "I'm gonna poop," and we're like, "Okay, hold it." Not 30 seconds later, he had pooped.
Yeah, he's like, "I told you."
Like,
yeah,
no. Barely any.
Were you on like the freeway?
Yeah.
We were like, at that point, the only thing you could do would be literally just like have a child shit in front of like hundreds of people.
Yeah.
And it's like, at a certain point, you'd have to make that kind of judgment call. But at the end of the day, kids are going to shit themselves.
Yeah.
Kids, old people, drunk people shit themselves. It happens.
I've only ever pooped myself in a bathtub while drunk. I've never soiled a pantaloon.
I feel like there should be like a French cuisine name for that or something.
the dookie bathtub.
Yeah. The rustic caper.
Yeah. No. I had sangria one night and I wasn't like drunk. Like I felt fine, and then I was like, "I'm gonna take
diarrhea
a bath.
in the bathtub."
And then, just diarrhea.
Sangria is kind of like the Kool-Aid of wines.
Yeah,
the people like to think that it's like cultured, but it's just sugary shit.
Yeah,
I don't like sangria. See, I don't like my drinks to be that red. Yeah. I don't like wine.
Yeah, I don't. As I get older, I get more upset with wine snobs. I'm like,
wine snobs
you're just an alcoholic. Like I don't.
Wine snobs are like the leotards of people. It's like you're pretentious.
Yeah,
you suck.
Wow, hating on leotards out of nowhere.
Well, I mean, come on. It fits the aesthetic. It's kind of Steve Jobsian, just kind of like an aura of importance where it's like all you did was delegate like scientists.
Yeah, you got all those people in Northern California just like.
It's not how you start, it's how you finish. And dude was like, I'm not doing chemotherapy. I'm going to drink juice. And it's like, okay, well.
He was disturbed before the fruitarian took hold, I think. Because, he was like, oh, I only eat pears this week. Like,
and it's like, that seems a little not good in a lot of ways, actually.
It's like really bad for your liver. And then
I've sat with people that genuinely have tried to like argue fruitarianism, and I'm just like, I respect your opinion. Well, actually, I don't. I'm just going to be respectful to you and tell you that having nothing but water and sugar is not good for you.
Yeah,
you're gonna be diabetic and malnourished.
Yeah,
congrats.
It's like, so I don't have anything against like vegetarians, veganism, like all that. But sometimes I'll be on social media and like their username will be plant-based. And I'm like, I don't need to know what you fucking eat, bro.
In their bio?
I don't give a fuck what you eat.
What's more cringe, fruitarian or carnivore?
Oh, fuck.
I think fruitarian, because I would rather subsist off of like protein and fats than I would sugar.
Okay, I'm going based off the fan base.
Okay.
Because the carnivore people are loud.
Carnivore people are are
They got high blood pressure.
they're just as misguided,
yeah.
but I respect the food more.
Okay. Yeah. I don't.
They're
like fruit
they're just
anyway.
as bad. Anytime they're like, fucking Jordan Peterson, he's like, and it's just tough because
It's tough.
when you eat nothing but
The
steak.
belly of the whale.
Yeah.
Like. Yeah. I don't get the carnivore thing. I think it's up there with keto with just being stupid. Like I just
Keto
don't.
is-
I don't like
yeah.
keto. Like my stepdad does it, and I'm like.
Out of the things that we just mentioned,
Get it.
keto is the best because you can still have vegetables and you can still have fruit. You just
Yeah.
can't have carbs. I think
being
you should
anti-carb
have.
is silly.
I think you should have carbs, just not mainly carbs.
Yeah.
I feel like everyone should agree on something simple, and that's a little bit of everything healthy is good.
Yeah.
Like, duh.
Yeah.
But then you have people that, honestly, it sucks because my dad is now one of them where he's an extreme diet person.
Yeah. Yeah.
He got me this book that's like, if you want to have tomatoes, you need to peel the skin
Oh my fucking
and
God.
remove the seeds. And I'm just
I can't
like,
deal with that.
I might burn this book.
Yeah. No, you should
Yeah.
throw it out.
Yeah.
Like literally
and
just put
and
it in the
also,
garbage.
like, if you look up the author, his name is Dr. Stephen Gundry. He's like hated by a lot of people.
Yeah.
You can find interviews of him being like, it's actually healthier to smoke cigarettes out of your ass. And it's like, no,
It's like,
Stephen.
if you're not boofing it.
If you're not boofing it, are you a real one, though,
Yeah.
G?
Exactly.
Who's that short black
Dinklage.
comedian? Oh, well, he's short. I'll give you that one.
Brian Williams.
No,
Just naming little
he's the
people.
guy that was on Joe Rogan's podcast, and he was like, aliens put the pyramids there. And it's like, what? Cat Williams. That's his name.
Cat Williams. Jesus.
Cat Williams.
That was not who I was thinking of. I was thinking. Like,
No, yes.
Seems like white people are more into the alien thing.
That's an interesting point. Ancient alien. Well, it depends on what, there's different sects of everyone, right?
Well, it's like I think Rogan himself said, "What's something you don't find when you're looking for Bigfoot? Black people looking
That's
for Bigfoot."
an interesting point. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
with the aliens and Egypt stuff, there is a black level to that for sure, like culturally.
Yeah.
And then like also like black Israelites and stuff. Like there's a lot of different like
That one's so
offshoots.
funny. I love that. I love that Kanye got.
Yeah,
into the
we
Black
was
Israelites.
Jewish kangs. It's like, all right, that's cool.
Yeah. All right, man.
I don't know how valid it is. I'm not a historian, but it's interesting.
Yeah, I don't want him deplatformed because it's so funny. It's so funny when he
Cat Williams?
Yeah, both of them.
Well, I don't think Cat's going to be deplatformed because he might get he's ruffled some feathers though
Yeah.
because he did that Shannon Sharp interview and he was like, talking about how all of these people are going to be exposed and some of it already has came
I guess
true.
he said some stuff about Diddy that like turned out to be true. And
Yeah,
I was
he's.
like, oh fuck.
I think he said a lot of things.
I think he's
lot
just
of things.
constantly talking.
Yeah,
he never stops.
He's a very vocal individual. So is the polite way of putting it.
Yeah, I like that his claim to fame in Portland was he beat up a 16-year-old.
I thought that he was beat up by a 16-year-old.
Oh, you know what? You're probably right.
Yeah, no. And I'm pretty sure it was
actually.
it was like a 12-year-old boy. And he was like, you can watch the video on YouTube. He's like, what you gonna do, little boy? And the boy just like kicks his ass.
Yeah.
And it's like, ooh.
Yeah. How old is he? Like 60? It's not hard to kick a small 60-year-old
At the
man's
time,
ass.
I would guess closer to 40.
Oh, really? I thought this was more recent.
No,
I thought this was
this was a while ago.
Poor guy.
Which is probably to his benefit because
Yeah.
I think that got swept under the rug a little bit.
Yeah.
Because you don't want that to be one of your main like stories.
Yeah, like you pull up the first Google search and it's beat
Yeah.
up by a kid.
Yeah, we're Cat Williams beat up by a child.
Yeah, yeah. How many kids? How many 5-year-old kids could you kill?
Do I have a weapon?
No, bare hands.
Bare hands?
They're coming at you one at a time. They are 50th percentile in size.
One at a time?
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, you're gonna get.
Wait, I have to
tired.
kill them though.
You have to. Yeah.
Okay, because there's a definite
Okay,
extremeness to that.
Let's say you don't have to kill them, but you have to have them be down, and that they're going to be down
Jesus.
for an extended period.
Yeah, I'd say somewhere between like 40 and 100.
Yeah,
I feel like that's kind of the
that's
window.
a pretty.
Because I'd get exhausted. I think I would die of attrition
Yeah,
before anything else.
yeah, and if they're not like the biggest of 5-year-olds,
Yeah.
maybe you take a couple more.
Yeah, sure.
But I mean, what's your go-to move? Are you using elbows? Are you using what? You kicking them?
I think I'm kicking.
Yeah.
I think I'm kicking. Yeah.
Because
what I have in my mind is if they're coming at me one at a time,
yeah,
just one speedy face kick could just send them like flying.
take them out right away.
Yeah, and if I had my technique down, I'd just be like, whoosh,
yeah. In this scenario, they're also like a little more wily, a little more confident in their abilities than
they've had some.
Maybe you hit them a couple more times than the average.
Fuck. Well, then maybe it's grisly. Yeah.
Because like I bet you take down one 5-year-old and like 40% of all 5-year-olds would be like, oh fuck, and just get out of there immediately.
I'm pretty sure that would happen.
Yeah.
I don't think that they would keep coming at you one at a time like some kind of like old martial arts movie.
Yeah. The more that I've interacted with kids, the more I'm like, if they mobbed me, I might only get a couple.
Yeah. Well, the thing you have to understand is that they don't do like any damage.
Yes,
That's
but
the
they
problem.
have that dragging down capability.
Yeah, if they
grab
dogpile, you might
they
just
dogpile.
like run out of energy.
Yeah.
And expire.
That's why I say one at a time, because they come at you all at once. I'm like,
If they come at you all
10?
at once, barely. I don't even know about 10. Well,
5 to
10.
10?
5 to 10. 5 to 10, yeah.
like I could, because even with 2.
No, you could. You know what? You could do 20.
Yeah.
You could do 20.
20. Okay.
Yeah, you could do 20.
Yeah. It's just like,
Because if they came at you all at once, you just have to have some kind of like, you can't be taken down.
yeah.
As long
If you
as
go to the
you're-
ground, you're fucked.
If you go to the ground, it's over.
It's weird that kids, again, like kids not having the thing with pets, they'll throw a cat.
Yeah, they will.
They do not care about kicking you in the head while you're down.
No, yeah, they don't
They
understand
will
why that's dangerous.
immediately kick in the head.
And I feel like that applies really more for adults.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, what I mean by that is they're willing to do it to adults where they'd be
Yeah.
less willing to do it to another kid.
Yeah. They think we're invincible.
Exactly.
Like, I've been hit so many times where I've been like, oh wow, that hurt a lot more than I think they need, expected.
What's our time limit on this? We're already at 40 minutes. I think that's probably a good place to end. We'll end on a nice happy note of murdering children.
Hey, these are hypothetical kids.
These are hypothetical
They're
kids,
raised
not real
poorly
kids.
by insolent alcoholic parents.
Well, either way, it's that time. We'll have to hit on newer, lighter topics next time, or darker topics. Who knows? But we will try something next time.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.